All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. The first thing we have to do is approve the agenda.
So moved.
Sean and Ryan Shrivogel. It's moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next thing I need to do, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan Shrivogel and Ryan Ruda. Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, recognitions.
As you are, everyone's well aware, I'm sure, the district has unfortunately suffered some losses of late, some tragedies. The recognition, though, that I'd like to take the opportunity to do is I couldn't be happier, prouder of how the people responded in the time of need. Specifically, Neil Demure, of course, but Jerry Johnson and Jenna Johnson just showed these incredible, just calm presence and took the time that it would to provide the supports for all the people who might have needed them in a variety of different ways. And then, of course, all the staff members who also were there for our kids and for themselves, because this is trauma goes both ways. And that all goes all the way through, K-12, because we had individual adults at each building who were impacted by it. So one of the virtues of being a Longhorn is the greater educational family supports itself. We support one another. And so he reiterated everything I've ever known and thought about our people. It's just a shame that it occurred. So I would like to take the opportunity to recognize our people.
Okay, thank you. All right, financials, Mike.
Okay, on page 2 of the warrants, I'll just point out kind of Midway Electronic Contracting Company. We paid another little payment towards them working on the intercom system at the high school. And then down at the bottom, High Plains Co-op state aid flow through of $76,034. And then on page 3, JAG, we paid for the JAG program $11,220 that you guys had approved. So the warrants this month on page 5 total of $361,836.54. And then
And Mike, I show 361,838
8:30. Oh, okay.
that we have.
My eyes were messing up,
Okay,
so I
all
was trying to guess.
You want reading glasses?
I probably should get some. And then the revenue expense, our revenues are looking decent right now, or cash balances, I should say. And then page 10, same with our expense summaries. Of course, then you have the transfers and then the high school, middle school reports.
Unless anyone has any questions for Mike, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials at $361,838.54.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan Ruda and Jill. Moved and seconded to approve the financials. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, we have a public patron concern. Mrs. Farr?
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have, there's 4 rules to follow with this. And the first is your presentation shall not exceed 5 minutes. The subject matter, other than policy issues, will be referred to the administration. Comments shall be limited to issues and not refer to personalities. And presentation must be in good taste, benefiting or befitting the occasion and the dignity of the board meeting.
Sounds fair.
You have the floor.
All right. Well, first off, I want to let you know.
And the meeting is recorded, so if you would, please have a seat and speak directly.
Okay, I can't just pull it up a little bit?
If you want to hold it, you certainly.
Okay, that'll work. I think we're fine. Thank you very much. I do appreciate everything you guys do. My husband was on the school board here in Holcomb for about 10 years, so I know your time, it takes a lot of time. And I appreciate each one of you and your thoughts, and that's why you were elected, was to bring about your good common sense and just the good of the students. And also, I want to thank the principals, because I know you guys put a lot of work in also, and my gosh. I always said that's one thing, you know, I don't have cooking skill and I don't have student teaching skill. You know, that's difficult. I think that's one of the hardest things in the world to do. With that being said, with the 5 minutes, I can't really do a road runner with my mouth, and I'm not really an auctioneer, as I've seen Sean. So I'm gonna get to the last part of the presentation. I had practiced from the front all the way back, but I don't think that's gonna work. So I'm just gonna get right to it. At the very back, I am requesting that you cease the current suspensions and replace these punishments with consequences. And I believe that if you don't allow the students to involve and be involved in extracurriculars, then what is that a harm to them? Well, the U.S. Department of Education certainly thinks so. And I have an article, because I can't just come in here and say, well, this is what we believe, or this is what I think. No, I looked all of this up. And the Department of Education does say, and let me get to that. I hope it's not using up my time, gosh darn it. They basically say that they issued a report, and I think it was like in 2021, a resource guide for improving school climate and discipline. That report finds that some of the harms from suspension include decreased likelihood to graduate on time, increased dropout rate, increased likelihood of involvement with the criminal court system. It also affects their mental health. Extracurriculars help them get higher grade point averages. It allows them to learn leadership skills, all the things, and many, many more that are in your packet. All the things you want your child a part of. And when I looked at Holcomb, and you are twice as harsh as the other schools that I contacted and visited with, and honest to God, when I play a game, I do it fair and honest. I said, hey, list some schools. We just started writing down schools, brainstorming. We came up with 20 of them. And I can tell you, and you have it in your packet, the school survey, that basically, well, out of those schools, only 6 of them do random drug testing, okay? And out of that 6, I think the toughest one, which is Lakin, which does 25 school days, but they can short it to 10 on a first offense, and 50 school days, they can short it to 25. And I'm here to tell you, with everything that I've read, my grandson was suspended for 90 days. Before that time, that kid lifted weights after school, he did batting, he did throwing practice. There's 2 locations he went to. He studied. He was in bed by 9:30, quarter till 10. From the day he was suspended, because I thought, oh, surely all this isn't really true, but it is. From the day he was suspended, he's not picked up a bat. He hasn't thrown a baseball. I certainly haven't seen him do any homework. Matter of fact, his grades have gone down. He has basically been ostracized. He's invited the boys to go golfing twice, which they've denied him. And so I'm here to tell you that I think it's wrong that you suspend and suspend for a long period of time. Do I believe in consequences? Do I believe if I break the law, I need to do something? Either I have to, whatever they require of me. But I think you should give the students an opportunity. If they don't want suspension, then they can do community hours. And the other thing is, so many of the other schools, they start over every year. And Holcomb is consecutive. I don't think a freshman thinks like a junior. I mean, I think there's different cases. And I think there's different homes. You have thrill seekers, and you have kids that want to cope with every day. And so maybe they use some tobacco. My grandson used some tobacco. And I tell you, I've been a little anxietized myself and grabbed a cigarette, okay? Now, I didn't know he had a first offense, but that's our home. His mother chose not to tell anyone, so nobody knew, you know. Now, the other thing, there is a really good program. It's called, and I hope they can do it in Kansas, I believe they can, but it's called, and it's for all different addictions. It's called My Life, My Quit. It's an 8-week program. They have actual coaches and counselors that visit with the kids. It's free to the kids. And they have a workbook and worksheets that they go through, takes them 8 weeks. And I say, you know, instead of taking them from good role models, keep them where it's helping them, but have them consequences with community service, doing this program, other YouTube. I've got several that they can watch. Knowledge is power. Let's educate them in how to get over the addiction. And I'm asking that you not wait till July for a policy change. You know, I'm asking that you step up for the students and do something. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the information. Okay. We will now move to administrative reports and Dr. Myers.
First thing to mention to you, the insurance committee is getting going Wednesday at 5 o'clock. We do this once a year, make sure we're able to meet the needs of our people with the health insurance that we provide. If I remember correctly, Dr. Ruda and Sean Sheets, you guys are the approved, appointed, if you will, board members to serve on the insurance committee. So come on in. It'll be a joyous event. Secondly, graduation is around the corner, May 6th at 2 o'clock. Robin's needing to get a list of people who are planning on attending. I'm sure we'll reach out to you. Check your calendars, please, to see, if you're going to be available and be in town. Okay? Final thing I want to talk to you about, and of course he too will demur this. Randy Ackerman deserves some accolades, not because he keeps their system up and going, which he does, but behind the scenes, we bought new Chromebooks a while back. And, we bought them, and good, with the ESSER monies and whatnot. But when the company that was providing the hardware and the software for it, it didn't jibe super well. And so they've been problematic, and he continues to work with them and work with them and work with them. Well, their point was, well, your warranty's out, here pretty soon. And Randy said, no, au contraire, mon frere. And so through his good hard work, he's picked up an extra 2 years worth of warranty work on those Chromebooks. So just by simply being very professional, but also making the ask. People can't say yes if you don't ask. So Randy, shout out to you for that. Really appreciate you anyway, but great effort on that one. So that's my report.
All right. Thank you. All right. Buildings. Okay. Do we have grounds?
Yes, and Garrett is prepared to step to the mic and talk for a long time.
Come on, Garrett.
Now stay put. I will give Garrett a shout out though. Garrett's been with us maybe 2 cups of coffee and is really formulating a really good plan. He and Kent are working real well together, and it's going to take a while. It will just take a while. You just won't grow grass overnight. But I do believe we are on the uptick, and much appreciated what you brought to us, Garrett.
Thanks, Garrett. All right, let's move to transportation. Sam.
Just a couple things real quick. I did call about our bus that we did order like a year and a half ago.
Is going to be here February 5th.
I can't get a final, but it's back in Wichita, so I should get a call to go pick it up in the next couple of weeks, I hope. And driver situation, that's not going to be good again for a while. We can't, it's probably a 3-month period now, as before when it was like a month. That's at best. But I got 2 online for next year that are 90%, and then I got 2 more I'm working on that could hopefully be activity drivers for next year. So we hopefully will recover.
And also, while Sam's here, the forecast is for gusts of high wind tomorrow. If that were to occur, as far as the routes out in the country, we'll take kids home in Suburbans and whatnot.
I
So
got some drivers, four lined up, so
we're good to go. Okay. It would not impact in town, but as far as out in the country.
that's all I had.
Thanks, Sam. All right, food service. Monica. Nothing further. Okay. Technology, Mr. Ackerman. Nothing further. Okay. Well, we'll move to principals. We'll start off with Mrs. Albright.
I just wanted to talk about a few opportunities we have coming up for our Wiley students. Ms. Castillo, our counselor, has started working on bringing in some learning opportunities career-wise. We've had a dentist come in. We have a zookeeper coming. The first graders this week are going to be going to the bank to visit the bank. So a few career opportunities within the classroom there. We also have Big Truck Day coming up at the end of the month, where we have 12 different local community members bringing their big trucks, including things like UPS, linemen, a cattle hauler, let's see, lots of farm equipment, you name it. So that's at the end of the month. We're looking forward to that. We also have Skydome Planetarium. It's a mobile planetarium coming in at the end of the month for the students, and that's going to be for K through 5th grade students. So they set up a big mobile planetarium, and they do different 15 to 20-minute shows throughout the day for the kids to learn about the solar system. So we're looking forward to having that. And then we also get to go to the elementary school this coming week to see the middle school band and the theater students perform. So looking forward to all those opportunities this month.
A couple things just to add up on. If you didn't make it last year to Big Truck Day, you have to come to Big Truck Day. Highlight of my year, I thought. It's pretty cool to see the big
pretty
old trucks.
awesome.
Secondly, Amy mentioned the different field trips and whatnot. Yeah, they're fun. But actually, this goes straight in line with, in my vision, if we are really doing our job. By the time the kids walk across that stage, they truly have an idea where they want to go, and we've helped them build the skills, even if that's not the path they end up going. What I'm referencing are the individual plans of study. That's not just a middle school, high school activity. That's an elementary all the way up through. It's success skills build up on that, but also just the whole idea of exploring what are the different places of work out there. So good on you and your people.
Thank you, Amy. All right, Mrs. Tyne.
I just wanted to mention an opportunity for our K-5 students to showcase their art. This is our first year having an art teacher, and so she has set up basically just an art night where parents would be able to come and see the artwork that students have been working on. And again, that is kindergarten through 5th grade. It will be at both schools. I believe she has some food trucks in line to come and have things to sell there. So it should be a fun night to come out and see what the kids have been putting together. And I think they've really enjoyed having that opportunity to create, which they hadn't had previously. So.
Thank you. All right, Tyler.
Apparently it's Individual Plan of Study Month. That was also going to be the topic of my report. Tabulating it before we came in to our meeting tonight, 49% of our 6th graders have gone on at least one of our career-oriented field trips this year. So we're well on our 3-year goal of them all going on at least one, in addition to their whole grade level field trips. But beyond that, I'm excited for the work we'll be doing this summer as an administrative team to really make the individual plan of study more robust, go more broadly with it. Thinking for the middle school, we used to have a financial literacy class. Not a very flashy name for middle schoolers. It didn't have a lot of enrollment. We didn't keep it. But thinking about how we can use our homeroom times to make that more of an emphasis. We've been successful this year doing social media lessons, doing lessons on, we did one on plagiarism last week. So using that time to maybe do some financial literacy next year is something we're looking at. So pleased with our progress on it. Big shout out to Ms. Davis. She organizes, coordinates those field trips. Looking forward to keeping those going forward.
And you're fully back in your office?
Yes, sir. I'm back in my suite, finally out of the coat closet. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler. All right, Mr. Jerry Johnson.
I need to bring my notes up so I don't forget anybody. Our band and choir celebrated well, they had solos and ensembles this last Saturday, and we did a really good job. So I'd like to highlight our band and choir students that went. This is only for people that either want to do a small ensemble or they're doing individual solos. And it was both music and choir, or music and choir and band that performed. I had to make sure that I get this right, and I was in band, but I was never good enough to take a solo, and I was never asked to be on an ensemble. So Mr. Bright and Mr. Yost both talked to me about twos are really good. Ones are great, means that you qualify for state. So we had several students that qualified for state in Andover coming up at the end of April. Students that received a 2 on their solos for choir would be Kevin Davis, Caitlin Hintz, Tatiana Matson, Jaylee Santana, Diana Vallon. Our show choir and women's choir all did a really good job, received 2s. Our 1s, and these will be qualifying for state and going to Andover at the end of April, is LaDanian Aguilar, Kendall Brungart, Ruby Diaz, Corinne Johnson, Jensen Kennedy, Katrina Macias, Riley Tyne, and Olivia Wilds. And so that was our choir that all did really well with the solos. Band did a really good job also. Those that got a 2 rating, we had a percussion ensemble that got a 2 rating. Elijah Gomez, Amber Ibarra, Allison Ibarra all received a 2 on their solo. And then Jordan Keltner, our freshman that's put in a lot of work, she received a 1 on her solo, and so she qualified to go, as well as our woodwind trio, clarinet trio, or quartet all received a 1 rating as well. So they'll be going to Andover as well. The other, when we're doing our activities and highlighting it, we had 3 students that qualified for nationals in JAG. JAG competition. We had several students made it out of state or regions to state, and then from state you have to qualify and you get to go to Orlando, Florida. And we had 3 students that it was about the part of the food pantry and the work that they're doing there that they were able to move on, and that's Gracie Leonard, Ashlyn Bradley, and Riley Miller competed and actually beat a team that beat them at state, and so they were able to beat them out and make it. So they'll be going to Orlando, Florida. So we have some kids doing some really good things.
Thank you, Jerry. All right, we'll move to unfinished business and standards-based grading.
All right, as you people in the know, the last couple of years we've been piloting the standards-based grading approach to schooling at the high school. In a real nutshell, Jerry and his crack staff are going to dig much deeper into this, but in a real 30,000-foot view of this, basically the students they earn the points for what they can demonstrate they can do. It's no longer a gathering of points because I brought a can of food or some Kleenex, which are nice things to bring. But back when I was in school, it was just all about the points, gather the points in a 10-point scale, and then you do the math on it, you'd have whatever percentage grade you had. With the standards-based grading, it's truly indicative of the knowledge and the skills that the students have. What's exciting about it is it paces the educational opportunities differently. It is real interesting on this. Individual states focus on different things. The state of Iowa has been doing this for multiple years, and we've received professional learning for the last 2, if not 3 years, from one of the gurus of this movement. The state of Kansas threw into one-to-one initiatives years ago. Iowa's just now getting there, so they chose to go a different way. So what my point of making that point is, this has been vetted in a different state, but it's a Midwest state. So we're to the point now, we're needing to codify this. It's not an action item tonight, but it's a great opportunity to hear from the people who actually implement this stuff and give you, the board, an opportunity to ask questions. The pace on this is, if everything's a go-ahead as we talk over the next month or so, it's going to show up in the handbook, as this is how we go about achieving grades in the high school. And so I'm sure Jerry and his people will walk through where we've been, what we're thinking, where we're headed. So with that, Mr. Johnson.
All right, try not to break something over here. First off, I'd like to introduce our BLT team. This is a group of people that work extremely hard in our school. They do a lot of time of giving up, like tonight, coming in, doing presentations. They're the ones that go back from our meetings and talk to the individual teacher groups that they lead. And so when we talk about leadership team, they truly are some of the best leaders that we have in the school. Not some, they are the best leaders. And Mr. Miller's here too. So Mr. Stephen Miller teaches 9th grade English. Mrs. Barrett teaches geometry for us. Mrs. Bree Bowler teaches a lot of different things. Forensics, she teaches world history. She teaches all of our speech class with freshmen. Mrs. Artery teaches Chem 1, Chem 2, physical science. And then I can't even begin to read off all the things that Mrs. Sullivan teaches. She's one of those that teaches all of our business classes, has tons of preps, and I would miss one and get something thrown at me. So we'll just leave it there. But hey, so the reason this team is so important is I believe in everything that we run through this team. And so I never make a decision. I never pass anything along unless I talk it over with these guys. We meet twice a month. We meet around our PLCs. So this team will meet a week. I'll talk to them. Then they go out and talk to their teacher groups on a PLC the next week. And then these guys bring me back their feedback. And this is who I trust. We talk a lot in the meetings of, you tell me exactly what you want to say, not what I think we want to hear. And we have some really good conversations and really good policies. We've done some really good things that way. So kind of where this goes is we've been at this since 2020. We've been looking at standards-based grading, what standards-based grading is, visiting schools, and we spent a lot of time thinking what we thought we knew about it, and it wasn't really right. In 2021, we happened to meet Matt Townsley. He's the author of Making Grades Matter. He's a professor at Northern Iowa. He implemented standards-based grading at a high school where he was a math teacher, then at an admin, and now he's a professor at Northern Iowa. He's the one that really got us on track. He's the one that really got us to thinking truly what standards-based grading is and what it isn't. And what we're here to tell you is standards-based grading isn't a fix-all. It's not going to fix all the problems that we have in education. What it is for us is a communication tool. That's what it is. It's us to be able to clearly communicate what a student's level of understanding is with the student and from the teacher based on how we're doing it. And that's what it is. We want to be able to know exactly where the student is at so we can apply the right intervention for the individual student. Too many times in education, we apply interventions to general classifications or general students, and not all students need those same interventions. So what this has allowed us to do, and I'm going to let these guys kind of talk through it, is it gives us a way to understand that. So why standards-based grading? We believe that the purpose of grades should be to clearly communicate the student's level of understanding. And you can do a lot with grades, but you can't do everything with grades. And so that's the reason that we came up with, through this book and several talking points, of 5 different grading criteria. This grading criteria that we've come up with will allow us to remove some of the excess from a grade, and we know exactly where the student's level of learning is at. And these 5 people have piloted this and really taken this on, and so it's going to be their turn to talk about each one of these grading tenets or pillars, we say, of standards-based grading. So grading criteria number 1.
So our first tenet is assessments will be used to determine the current level of understanding of each student. Obviously, that's going to look different in each class. Each of our subject matters has standards that are set out by the state, and that's what we assess on. In social studies, they're pretty general. In some of the other classes, they're going to be more specific in like skills, like in math that they would have to have or something like that. But how I have set it up in my classroom is that I've developed a series of rubrics that go along with each of my assessments. And even in my classes, that's going to be different. Like in my world history classes, probably more traditional pen and paper type test, maybe that you're used to seeing. In my theater and my speech classes, those are going to be like presentations or speeches. But the rubrics are set up based off of the different standards that we are covering within that unit or that speech, and they have different levels based around those standards, and they go from 0, which would be like no learning took place, to 4, which is like there's no gaps. This person has like pretty much mastered what we're talking about. And there's descriptors for each level. And then based on the standards, those questions are developed or those skills are tested. And I use those rubrics to assess or kind of determine the level of learning that each student is at, depending on a standard. And then we'll get into it later, but they'll have abilities to try again if they didn't do as well as what they had hoped.
And I think one of the things that's that we need to note with this is each one of these grading criteria build on each other. And so you can't really remove one of the grading criteria and the other ones work. And you'll kind of see this as we go along with it. So grading criteria 2.
Steve Miller, English department. The second grading criteria is students will have multiple opportunities to demonstrate learning. So basically what this means is what I thought it meant at first was they just get to retake the test over and over again until they pass it. And what we had was a lot of students just coming in, retaking the test, guessing a little better, guessing a little worse, guessing a little better again until they finally passed it. We realized that is a bad situation for a lot of reasons. So what this comes with is a relearning plan of some sort. So if the students fail a test or their essay fails, they have to do some sort of plan to demonstrate that they've gone back, they've gone through either the homework or some of the learning stuff that they had missed or hadn't understood, or we give them enrichment on it, and then they get a chance to reassess, either taking the test or rewriting the essay, like for the English department. What's really good about this is that we know that not all students learn at the same rate, that not all students are going to get it the first time through, and we don't have time to like reteach every single unit for every single student. But we do have the ability to create a plan for them if they want to go back, redo some of the learning. That way they're not behind from the first unit and then constantly falling further and further behind. So if they have a chance to do a couple things on the first unit, reassess on it, or rewrite their essay in a different manner to get themselves caught up, then they're not constantly behind. So that's how I've found it in the English department. And I think Ms. Barrett has found that in the math department as well. Do you guys have questions about that?
So do they do that generally during their PLT time?
Yeah. That's a big part of it. So like during PLT, I'll have students come visit me and they're like, all right, what do I still not understand about this essay? And I'll sit down with them during that time and help them work on their outline, help them come up with new ideas. I know in the math department, a lot of it is homework. So like if they haven't done all the homework, all right, go back, do all the homework. Like if you failed the test, you clearly don't understand it. If you didn't do all the homework, now we have a huge piece about why you didn't understand it the first time.
That's one of my grades in college.
That's what.
So do you collect the homework before they take the test again?
Yeah, we'll get to that. So sorry, that's,
Look at you, Schreiber, jumping ahead.
yeah, it's logical.
Thank you.
So criteria 3 is a relearning plan must be followed in order for reassessment to take place. And like he said, the old way was like, okay, you'd take chapter 3 test or chapter 4 test, and then the kids could reassess or relearn if they wanted to. But now based on the standards, sometimes you can chunk them together, or sometimes you can just test on one standard alone, depending on the content. For example, my last trig test, it covered 5 standards. And so the kids could reassess afterwards on just the particular standard that they didn't feel they were as successful as they wanted to be. Some kids are okay with the 3, which is like an 85. Some kids are not okay with the 3, and so they'd want to reassess and do a relearning plan. In my math classroom, for my geometry kiddos, they use this slip here. It says, what standard would you like to reassess? So again, if there's 5 on the last assessment, they have to tell me which one. So they're going back and having to look at the content, look at the curriculum, so they actually know which standard they need to reassess on. Was homework and practice turned in before the test? If yes, then they can go on. But if no, we require in the math department, they have to go back and complete the homework that they did not do on that standard before they can do the reassessment. Then they have to set up a time to go over the test with us. Again, that can be PLT time. It can also be seminar time. We have some kids that come in on seminar on traditional days and do that. It can also be before and after school, but that's not used as often. Yeah, they prefer to do it during the school hour. And then let's say a kid did do all of their homework leading into the assessment, but after going over and sitting down and going over the standard with me, they still don't know if they have it completely. There is an option that they can ask for extra practice. Believe it or not, I've had kiddos ask for that, so I would go and give them something else on that standard that they could practice to get ready for the reassessment. But to reassess just for the sake of reassessing doesn't make any sense. They need to go back and they need to do this process of relearning so they actually get the material before they do a reassessment. But yeah, so homework-wise, they do have to turn it in. I mark it in the grade book as completed or missing, so that way parents can go in, even though it's not counted on their grades, you can go in and see if they're doing their homework or not. But it doesn't count towards, oh, I guess I shouldn't say that part. Never mind, that's next.
Just curious what feedback or response from students has been in the classes that you've done standard-based?
I've found most of the kiddos like it. They really do. It does put the responsibility on their shoulders to know the material. They don't, like most of the kids that did the homework before, they still are doing the homework, even though it doesn't count. They know that they need to understand it so that they do well on the assessment. And they know if they don't, they're gonna have to go back and do it anyways. So my kiddos have had a good response in my classroom, and I know they've said they've enjoyed the change, so.
And another part I think that is really kind of cool, if you hear each one of them talk, it's different in each one of their classrooms. And so there's still the autonomy of the teacher to say is, do I want to not have them turn homework in? Is it up to them? Some don't. Some say you don't have a chance to take the assessment until you turn it in every single piece of the homework. If you don't, then you don't ever get to take the assessment, so you're never going to have a grade onto it. There's a accountability piece for them. But some of them, like in math, you go in and you talk to them, and I think some of my kids must have got my wife's brain, because they don't do all the homework. They do up until the homework, and they tell me all the time in geometry, and both of them have A's in the class, but they say is they do it up until they understand it, then they don't do the last 10 problems because they don't need to. So sometimes I think we get in the mode of, if we're having kids do stuff that they already know, they're not actually learning. We're just having them do busy work. And that's where they get to the point that sometimes of they don't do it anymore. But some teachers are having them do it. Now, the thing I like about it is we don't just say on the homework, oh, turn it in if you want to turn it in. No, if you turn it in, you're getting specific feedback back from it. That's a huge piece of it. The homework gets turned in. The teachers grade the homework, meaning that they go in and they don't assign a point value to it, but they give specific feedback of what the students are doing wrong on the problems. That's the important piece, because the practice, they need feedback on the practice if they're doing it right or wrong. That's the piece that these guys are still doing, and they're still putting the time in. So it's not that the students aren't getting any help with it. They still turn in the stuff. They get the feedback from the teachers. They go back and redo some of it. Then they're ready to take the assessment whenever they feel like that they are with it. So the next grading criteria kind of plays into that.
Well, how many times can they take a test? Is it just unlimited?
That's up to the individual teacher. It says multiple opportunities, so the teachers can set it in their plan of,
We just allow them to keep taking that assessment test until they pass it, or?
So like, for the example of like a writing standard, in the fall, we do literary analysis. So we might work on literary analysis for 9 weeks. So they have 9 weeks to do a literary analysis. So if they write, 5 essays and they all get a D on that essay, the semester will end at some point, and then they don't have any more opportunities to do it. So, and we don't stop presenting new work, so they'll have to be working on the new stuff as well. it does sort of sound like, oh, they have infinite opportunities, but like the year is only so long. And if they spend so long like trying to pass one test, they're not learning the new stuff after a certain point. So there are like organic restrictions on it, if you will. And having a relearning plan makes them have to do some of the work ahead of time before they can reassess. So if I have a student who turns in an F paper, so I give them more stuff to do, then they turn in an F paper again, I'm gonna sit down with that student and say, what is going on? Like, we've spent a lot of time trying to work on this idea. Where is the essential problem? We need to have a conversation about it and figure out what are you really not understanding. Because they're not just gonna keep turning in essay. We're gonna have like a process and actually like try to get to the bottom of what is the problem, what are you not understanding, and how can I help you learn that key part. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect sense. I just want to make sure everybody knows it.
Okay, thank you for letting us come in our practice gear tonight. After school, we had track practice, and tonight we had the kids run some 200s. I coached the distance runners, and so I had goal times for them to meet because they need to try to run their best this weekend at Wichita State. We want them to represent Holcomb well, and so in addition to the 200s that they ran, they also had to run some miles. After practice was over, I met up with my youngest son, Rush, who was supposed to have been practicing his piano lesson, and he did not. So he got to have some oversight and some feedback from me while he practiced numerous times. Because he couldn't get some of the measures correct and do them smoothly, he got to practice them over and over. Fortunately, tonight he was in a good mood, and that went smoothly as well. But I don't bring you or give you those examples to let you know how my day went. It was more to show you that whether we call it practice or we call it a piano lesson or we're showing animals, whatever it is that we're doing, because my kids should be practicing that too. Homework is the same idea. It is a way to get the kids to practice the skills and the concepts without fear of failing. In my classroom, that looks different, and I think it kind of correlates with math just because we do a lot of math and chemistry and physical science. Sometimes it could be as simple as a formative assessment where I've done the problem on the board, or we've done it as a class, and then I watch them do it on my dry erase tables that we have, and it's immediate feedback. It's right away. So I can see any misconceptions that they have and get those corrected before they get to something like an assessment where they're completely lost because they didn't understand it when they did the work in class. But you asked about the homework assignments as well. You know, I've found, and I think some teachers have found, that just giving word searches or crossword puzzles isn't always relevant to the concepts and skills they need to know according to the standards. So it pairs the information and the homework that we do give the kids to be more practical, to be more suited to what they need to know on the assessment. So it is ungraded, but it isn't irrelevant. It does help them to understand what they need to know when they are assessed, and again, like I said, they're not afraid of failing at that because there is no consequence, and if they don't do it, then they don't know it. Any questions on that?
Okay, this is the last one. Extra credit will not be given at any time. So the point of standards-based grading is obviously to see how well they do on each standard. So if you inflate their grades with extra credit, you don't have a clear picture of what they know and where they're struggling. So no extra credit, no bringing Kleenex boxes because that is irrelevant to anything they know. In the past, I've gave extra credit for like kids that go above and beyond, or maybe they want to boost up their grade and they do extra work. So now, like, I always have kids who, like, especially in yearbook, they go and do extra stuff for me.
So instead of putting that on their grade that they've already probably met the standard in that class, we just give them extra incentives like extra time or all kids love food, stuff like that. So they still get rewarded. It's not overlooked. It's just not put in as part of their grade. And if they do have a low grade and they need the extra work to bring it up, they obviously do the reassessment plan and reassess.
So putting all 5 of those together is what you get standards-based grading. It doesn't change how we deliver content, doesn't change the content that we have. It doesn't tell you that you have to teach a certain way or anything like that. But all it is it helps us to develop a communication plan between the students and the teachers and the parents so that everybody knows exactly now where the student's at on their level of learning. One thing I do love as a parent is the once every 6 months I get on to check a grade, I don't see chapter 3 test anymore. I don't see this. I'm able to talk to my kids about, man, you're really good on whatever standard, but you really sucked on this standard. Like, you need to go back and take a look at this one because good Lord Almighty, hey, it looks like you don't have any kind of clue on that. So it allows you to be able to have those good conversations with your students to say is, well, how's American history going? Well, good. Well, I know that we have chapter 13 done, and you did good on chapter 13. What was chapter 13? I don't know. Now, they can't give you that yes or no or fine or good answers. You can say, hey, I saw that you got on polynomials. I saw that you did really well on that. What's a polynomial? You have the conversation starters with the students and you have good conversation with them. So,
Curious, I mean, just in the conversations you've had with other districts and as you've looked at this, has there been any correlation to changes or increases in state assessment scores there by going to standard-based?
We have asked that question, and nobody's been able to give us a definitive answer on that yet. I don't know if it's been in place long enough. Is that your understanding? Am I speaking out of turn?
The school in Iowa has shown that.
Progress?
Yeah, the one that he was from.
Salone?
That's why. Yeah, the Matt Townsley is from a school in Iowa, and that's the reason that like he's been so successful with these ideas is because they did show a lot of improvement with state assessments. But the schools we visited in Kansas were
Not doing it right or well.
They were messed up. So they were trying to do like 18 things at once, and they kept like getting a new principal. It seemed like that was a common thing. So I think either they were either pilot schools or they were schools that had been having a lot of difficulties, and so they tried to do all these changes to try to address all those difficulties. So taking just like your average, like good district like ours and implementing this, I don't know that we have a lot of, data on that, but it makes sense to us as educators and.
Yeah, I would assume and hope over time that you see that correlation being
The one benefit I would say to it, even though we don't have that data, is that we are teaching more to the standards. And as I walked around last week administering the science assessment, looking over their shoulders, we really need to be adhering to those because that is what they're tested and that does reflect on us. And hopefully, if we're diving deep into the standards, that will be reflected on the state assessments. So it does hold us more accountable to those as well.
Yeah, well, I applaud the work.
I will say too, like one other thing, like before we went to this, I feel like baby cheating was getting very out of hand, and they may not consider it cheating, but even all the apps where you can take a picture of a problem, a math problem, and it literally step by step will do it for you. Well, kids would do that on their homework or they're copying homework because it would bump their grade up and keep their grade up. Well, now there's not that incentive to go cheat. Like you either know it or you don't, and at least in my class, the math classroom, I've seen the cheating go way down because the homework isn't worth something. So if you still don't know it, you're not going to know it on the assessment. So the kids have really, I think, had that mind switch too of, if I want to do well on the assessment, I need to figure it out. And it's not I've got to get this done by Tuesday at 8 o'clock because it's due and I need to use Mathway or use my friend's paper. And hopefully, long term, that will help sink in and, yeah, show results too.
And ethically, we don't encourage cheating, or,
No.
but if you're cheating, then you're not learning the concept, you're not learning the standard, and it's only putting you further behind, because you're copying somebody else's work. I did hear a student the other day say, hey, can you show me how you did this problem? Can I see your paper? And she said, I'm not trying to just get the answer. I need to know how to do it for the test, or, how to do it for the assessment, whatever. So, she knew the why behind what we were doing.
Well, I think what's good is, especially with math, because math. But if you don't understand at the beginning, that's gonna affect you. So at least they have an opportunity to get a grasp of it so that it doesn't, when I was in school, well, you flunked, so now I still don't understand it, but we're moving on. So, I like that aspect about it.
So as teachers or even parents, if you have a skinny blonde-headed girl that says, Dad, I do great at my homework, I know the stuff, I just freeze on test. I just can't do test. And, 3 out of 5, I just do terrible at. What do you tell her?
I think that goes back to one of the criteria that says there are different ways you can demonstrate learning. It doesn't have to be on a paper pencil test. It can be a project. It can be a sit-down conversation where I ask you a question and see what you know and where your misconceptions are. And it doesn't have to be the way it normally is. We have a lot of kids that say, I am just not a test taker. I do terrible at that all the time. So if you can tell me what you know in an open-ended question format, if that works better for you, then that is all we need. And that's all we need.
I also think that having reevaluation as part of the equation releases some of that anxiety. When you say, okay, I'm building up to this unit test, and it's going to be worth 20% of my grade, and it has to be today, and if I fail it, I'm done for the next 3 weeks of eligibility or something, then that creates a lot of anxiety. So you do have kids who can do it, but because of that, they freeze up. But when you say, all right, what happens if I fail this, Mr. Miller? You can reassess. Okay.
Get another chance.
I'll just do my best then. So I think that helps.
Any other questions from the board, comments? Any final statements, Jerry, or teachers?
Job well done.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys, well, you rocked it. Thank you very much for being here and explaining this as well as you did. And I will say to the board, this is not how education was back when Mr. Ackerman and I began, when we had tablets and rocks to write on. We just taught the next thing in the book, and there was a time limit. Moving on, right? A lot more work on their part, but it's individualizing, and I'm really pleased and proud of you for all the effort you put forth on that. And I do believe it will, not that the state assessments are the single most important data point, but it is an important data point. It just makes sense. If we teach the right stuff in the right manner, we're going to, those lagging indicators will go up. I just don't see how they won't. So anyway, thank you very much.
The only thing I'd say is to add to any of it is all these hard work that these guys are doing, they're the ones that's done it. We said at the beginning, and I told them, I said, which way do we want to go? Do you guys want to keep going with this? And they kept saying, yes, we want to. So everything they're doing is all their hard work, and they spend a lot of time doing that and believing in it and talking to other teachers about it. So these guys have done an awesome job of building the culture in our school around this, and it's these 5 right here. So they are rock stars for sure.
Well, I hope we had 500 heads or 1,000 heads listening tonight, because I think a lot of people have misconceptions about it, and you guys explained it well. So appreciate that.
Thank you, guys.
We could post their cell phone numbers places too.
Yeah, let's do that. And home numbers as well. All right. We will move to educational materials fee.
This is normally a July activity, but with our Advent moving more and more into online enrollment, it just makes sense to open this up sooner. because as people do enroll, they want to take care of their fees, educational materials fees. What I'm presenting to you is same basic structure as in years past, except for one major adjustment. Now the discount, if you will, of having multiple students in the district would be applied across the district. In the past, it's just been if you had multiple high school kids, you'd get a cut rate. Now it's across the district. This would be across the district. And so if an individual family has a kid at Wiley Elementary, one at Holcomb, and one at the middle school, they get the discount. If another family has 3 kids at the high school, they'd get the discount. It doesn't matter wherever they happen to be. They're all USD 363 families, so it just makes sense to do this. Just important to mention, the technology fee of old is baked into this price, or into this amount. And once again, these numbers are the same as last year. It's generating enough funds for us. We utilize these monies for when we have curriculum adoptions and electronic subscriptions and anything we utilize in educating our kids. On average, it generates about $44,000 a year, on average. So it's not enough to take care of an entire curriculum adoption, let's say like ELA last year of 220, but we have it all figured out and paced out to where we have a few years where we save a little bit of money and then we're able to make that purchase. So anyway, I recommend that we go ahead and approve the USD 363 school fees and meal prices for, based on meal prices rather, for the 23-24 school year.
Dr. Myers, just wanted to mention that I had 3 kids in 3 different schools last year, but I will recommend that we change the school fees and meal prices to this.
So as to, for it to make sense, right, Ryan?
Refund you what you paid.
So Ryan
And
Tribal
refund.
and Jill. Moved and seconded to approve the educational materials fee for the 23-24 school year as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, dual credit program.
For, I don't know, however long we've had our relationship, articulated agreement with Garden City Community College and with whomever else, if a student takes a dual credit class during the school day, it counts. It counts for college credit and for high school credit.
Be with anybody else.
No, with no one else besides Garden City Community College. And so the idea being, anymore, we have students who have come forward and said, well, what about summer classes? Or I'm taking it at the JUCO, or evening classes for that matter. And, Jerry and Jenna brought that to me. I said, well, that makes sense to me. I mean, as long as it's the same stuff. And so we talked about this last month, and you gave me the go-ahead to, all right, build some policy. And Jerry and Jenna recommended the policy saying, students may choose to receive dual credit for college courses listed in the approved HHS course catalog. So that's the that's what makes the definition. It's in the catalog or not. Students are responsible for providing us with the college transcript, so we're not going to chase them down, to get it. So, and the college or the high school course catalog is a lie. It's a living document. So if, let's say there's something that's not in it, we can add it in, but we won't add it in just because it feels good. We'll add it in because it meets the standards. It goes back to the standards. So I recommend the board adopt the proposed language to allow the earning of dual credit of approved courses taken during the evening and or during the summer through institutions of higher education.
So moved.
Only Garden City.
Sean and Casey.
Or does it?
Moved and seconded to adopt the proposed language for dual credit courses. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Shoot, I didn't get that GCCC in there. Sorry, right? All right. New business. Oh, track project.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you think you have it all figured out, and then new information comes forward. That's what we're facing on this puppy. I had it, I thought, honed down to we do need to take care of the track, and it's being taken care of now, but a permanent solution. And the numbers we had, I was just incorrect on how I was reading what the guy had put together for me. We were working with this one group who had been involved with the original project, and then I got to talking with another group, Mammoth, and talking to them, sharing it with them, and they said, well, those numbers don't match. You don't really line up. And so, well, what do you mean? So we went back, this all happened like a week and a half ago. So we went back through it, and yeah, the numbers jumped from 500,000 to do it to 825,000 just to do the track, or 997,000 if you do the track and the field events. So I'm recommending at this point we do nothing with the track outside of Patchett. This is now taking on a multiple year approach because it's far more than I thought it would be. And so we're I don't know if it's completed or not, the caulking of the track, if it's been done yet, okay. But it's coming and we'll get that done. And we may have to look at next year because this fella did have a stopgap approach. I just dismissed it because I thought, hey, for $500,000, we'll just get it fixed. So by cutting out sections and pouring it back in doing it in that manner, this would allow us to get through a couple fiscal years and not utilize our capital outlay and then be able to take care of this down the road. At least that's where I'm at now. We could look at a lesser track if you wanted to, but as soon as we look at a lesser track, you're just, the clock's ticking and dirt, we'll go to Cinder. Glenn Cunningham from Elkhart, Kansas ran on Cinder.
Hey,
he's an Olympic champion by gum. Yeah. So tonight is an update saying I will keep working it to get even more information, but I can't in good conscience move forward trying to get this done in this fiscal year.
That was Mammoth's quote there for 900?
No, that was doing the math on this other group's quote. FT, Fisher Tracks. And I don't have the numbers, final numbers from,
Gotcha.
but I will. The game is afoot, just like everything else.
Do a grass track.
We'll do a grass track.
Didn't the college just redid theirs, what, 2 years ago?
Last year, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You didn't want to just do ours too?
No, we figured it into the bid and took it out.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I know they did,
Consideration.
I know they did the long jump pit and stuff.
Yeah.
They redid that, and all that.
Yep.
All right, let's move to use of school equipment during summer camps.
This is just an extension. Last month, the board approved for our organizations to use vehicles to go to summer camps. Well, oftentimes there's specialized equipment needed. And so we've done this for years, just asking permission for students to use specialized district equipment during summer camps. I want to say it in that manner because we don't want to just say football. I mean, they may want to go to a pole vaulting camp or a certain choir camp where they need to have a metrodome. I don't know. Whatever, oftentimes you have to take your own metrodome to a choir camp. It's acknowledged. At least I had to. Your own cowbell. You have to take your own cowbell if you go to cowbell camp. Anyway, I recommend the board approve of our students using specialized district equipment during summer camps and or clinics.
Casey?
Second it.
Jill. Moved and seconded to approve of our students using specialized district equipment during summer camps and or clinics. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, KASB dues and legal fees.
Annually, all the districts across the state make a decision on whether or not to remain a member of KASB, Kansas Association of School Boards, and then possibly the added incentive of buying into their legal assistant fees group. They're not stupid. In order to get to the legal assistance group, legal assistance fund, a district has to be a member of the overall. And so, of course, the cost to be just a member is far more expensive than the investment in the legal assistance fund. We utilize the legal assistance fund. I've used it 3 times in the last 2 weeks, where I call the lawyers and then end up sending letters and whatnot to them and get their feedback. All districts need to have a lawyer, and so if we did not choose to be a part of KASB and take advantage of their legal assistance fund, then we would go hire our own attorney on retainer. And the amount that we pay is $2,750 for the legal assistance fund. We pay $10,965 for overall membership. On a given year, we'd spend far more than the $13,000 investment, so because of legal fees, if nothing else. So I recommend the board approves the fees for the KSB membership and legal fees for 23-24 as presented. And that the membership is just membership option 1. I'm not interested in option 2, which is a professional learning add-on. So just the lesser amount, as you'll see on that invoice.
So moved.
Ryan, Ruda, and Sean. Moved and seconded to approve the fees for KASB membership and legal fees for 23-24. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, donation.
Yeah, we have, it's really, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. We have a variety of people, or patrons, businesses, whatever, who they just support the district in a variety of different ways. And so, come to find out, Ty Brookover had been working with Chad and, Chad and the wrestling program throughout the year, talking about possibly donation of a couple competition/practice wrestling mats. And you have pictures of what they look like. They're here. In order to accept them, in order to start utilizing them, though, the board needs to accept the donation. I recommend the board accept the donations as presented.
Casey and Ryan Ruda. Moved and seconded to accept the donations as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, executive session,
20 minutes,
20 minutes.
please.
Well, Curtis isn't here, so. All right, let's go in at, do you want me to go crazy on you, Casey, or just? San Diego State. All right, let's go in at 8:10 for 20 minutes.
Tell me what to do.
So moved.
Principals as needed.
And principals as needed. Ryan Ruda
Second.
and Jill. Moved and seconded to go into executive session for 20 minutes at 8:10 to include principals as needed and Dr. Myers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, we are back in session. I need a motion to hire Bree Tucker as the secondary interventionist, excuse me.
So moved.
Jill? Ryan Schreibvogel. Moved and seconded to hire Bree Tucker as the secondary interventionist. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to hire Alyssa Alvarado as the middle school secretary pending a background check.
So moved.
Ryan Ruda and Sean. Moved and seconded to hire Alyssa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. I need a motion to hire the summer school teachers as presented.
So moved.
Jill?
Second.
Ryan Ruda. It's been moved and seconded to hire the summer school teachers as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to hire the summer school teacher substitutes.
Second.
Ryan Schreibvogel and Jill. Moved and seconded to hire the summer school teacher substitutes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, I need a motion to hire the summer school paras as presented.
So moved.
Jill,
Second.
Ryan Ruda. Moved and seconded to hire the summer school paras as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I didn't have anything else, but since Mr. Johnson has remained standing since we've come back in from executive session, I'm assuming he wants to step to the mic and say something to the board. I've got nothing further.
It's like make you stand up there for
All right. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Jill,
Second.
Ryan Ruda. It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Run.
Run.
Dun, 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 dun.
Go watch basketball.